Welcome back, everyone, to Tarot and the Moons. My name is Ingrid. Let's get started. Just as a gentle reminder, if you find the video long, in the settings section here on YouTube, you can just speed up the video and it won't be so long for you. All right, so in this offering for the new moon, I'm really focusing on the moon as a representation of our emotions, which are a central part, right, of the human experience. And for centuries, the moon has been known as having this mystery within her that is so deeply radiating with secrets that are to be revealed. And the way that these secrets and the way that these mysteries are revealed is through our emotional connection, which is also interlinked with our intuitive senses. As you know, I've been focusing on emotions as an aspect of the human experience that must come into this space of being regulated or being tempered, because when I started this offering back in 2024, I saw a very clear vision that if we allow our emotions to get out of control while our exterior world is also breaking apart, then it was also going to be incredibly difficult for us to ground in this aspect of ourselves that is seeking to be some form of illumination in this world, right? So if our emotions are out of whack and our exterior world is out of whack, then the chances of us being this beacon of light is dimmed, right? So for me, it's really sort of coming to a head with this scorpionic energy. As you know, I focus on both the sidereal Vedic astrology placement of the moon as well as the tropical Western placement of the moon. And for this new moon, the astrological sign in both of these systems is the same, and that is the archetype and the astrology and the archetypal energies of Scorpio. And that means that this moon is incredibly potent. And this is a new moon that's on the 20th or the 21st, depending on where you are in the world. And the astrology of Scorpio dominating this moon means that our lives are going to be very much impacted from this new moon until the full moon. Remember that when we are connecting to a new moon, it is the perfect time to find the guidance that we need in order to clear, to cleanse, and to transform. And it's also a great phase of manifestation. And with Scorpio in the mix here, the nature that we're being asked to connect to is, what is it that you really desire? What is it that you really want, right? And lean into those aspects of power, trust, and abundance. I've always believed that there is a rich lunar consciousness that sort of enchants our subconscious realms with the energies of the archetypes of the moon. And this new moon in Scorpio, we are being asked to stay positive, to trust our own inner resources, to be reliable to ourselves, with ourselves, and to be committed to the words that we promised ourselves, despite the exterior appearances of everything being challenging. When I did my meditation for this particular new moon, the word that appeared was observe. So we're being asked to observe our emotions, to see where it's leading us, and also to be observant of our thoughts and what it is that we're thinking about, and how is it that we are thinking, and what is it that we are believing, right? So for me, the observation is asking us whether or not our emotions are congruent with what we are actually observing within ourselves and in our surroundings, and even globally. Whenever we have a moon engagement with Scorpio, there's a tendency to want to exhibit an emotion of obsession, right? That kind of obsession that allows the past to dictate our present feelings. And it's really important for us to observe this particular sort of rote thing that happens with a Scorpio moon where we hunker into the past, instead of engaging more the present and thinking in a positive way about the future, right? In the esoteric astrology lingo, the moon in Scorpio is very different from the psychological or predictive interpretations of traditional astrology, because in esoteric astrology, especially in the teachings of Alice Bailey or Dwal Cole and the theosophical schools, Scorpio is really the sign of the disciple. It's the spiritual warrior and the inner battles within us that refines our soul. So I want you to think of yourself as a spiritual warrior. And what are the emotional components of a spiritual warrior, right? You want to really tune into that instinctive nature that transforms us for the purpose of spiritual growth, right? And so we're going to be sort of in this space of connecting our lower emotions, or connecting to our lower emotional nature, and let it go through a purification process. Let it go through a transmutation process with this very potent and powerful Scorpio new moon. Remember that the scorpionic energy confronts the darkness, but not the darkness necessarily outside of us, although that can actually happen from this new moon to the full moon coming up next month, but rather to confront the darkness within us. And what that means is to overcome your own illusions, to overcome the purpose for the desires and the wants that you have, right? And to really face your own karmic shadows and transform them with your intuition, releasing all this idea of fear and rather hunkering in and attaching to the power of wisdom that you possess, right? So one of the scorpionic energies is this battle between our ego personality and our soul. Now, Scorpio is ruled by the planet Pluto, which incidentally rules the death card and the judgment card in Tarot, but we'll talk about that in the next slide. But it is said that Scorpio is also a planet that is ruled by Mars. And that has to do with your intensity, right? The magnetic frequency then with this particular scorpionic energy is Pluto and Mars. And remember that it's a water element, and water is in Tarot about our emotions, but it's about our emotions that can be dark, that can be heavy, that can be plutonic, and very much about Mars. And so Pluto, just to sum that up, the energy of Pluto is actually very explosive. And it's a planet and an archetypal energy of a planet that is about power, control, surrender, manipulation, transformation through the underworld, mafia, secrets, obsessions, compulsions, revenge, sex. It's very atomic in that way. And then we have it mixed with Mars. And Mars is this energy of action, but it's the male potency. It's about weaponry, it's about machinery, it's about guns, violence, aggression. all of these things. So imagine the combination, right, of these two planetary forces within the scorpionic archetypal patterning of this particular new moon, right? So, if anything, during the past 2 years that we've been with the moon and tarot, this is a perfect time to practice your breath work, to practice yoga, to practice artwork, to practice any modality, any celestial modality that you have that can help regulate your nervous system, regulate your emotional system, because this is very powerful. And the fact that both in Vedic and tropical astrology, this moon is in the constellation of Scorpio makes it doubly more powerful for us to remember to regulate and to ask yourself, what is it that must die within yourself, within me, right? What is it that has to die within me to make this real, to make me feel alive again, right? Because that energy of death, which we'll talk about, is really this energy of resurrection, as well as the judgment card. Both have a strong energy of resurrection, but we do have to go through this emotional death and emotional rebirth. We have to transmute our desire and literally overcome through the power of surrender these lower energies and the egoic aspects of ourselves in order to liberate that lower aspect of the self that is feeling entrapped. The ego is not all bad. It's only bad when we suppress what wants to be expressed, right? So with this moon, I want you to ask yourself, what is it that has to die? What is it that you need to let go of? And remember that you are a warrior energy with this new moon in Scorpio. And that from this battle within yourself, right, you will emerge triumphant, because that is what the scorpionic energy guarantees. It actually promises you that if you go through the energies of the underworld, Scorpio promises a rebirth. And so, in a lot of ways, this new moon is an initiation through emotional intensity. And this feels perhaps even a global engagement here. And there's an aspect that is also purifying the desires that we have. Does your desire come from the heart space, or does it come from the linear mind space, right? So you have this opportunity with this new moon to strengthen your soul and to light the darkness from within. Okay? Um, yeah, this is definitely a moon that's asking us to go inward, to face our shadows, and in the shadows we will find our treasures, right? So this new moon in Scorpio is bringing some very deep, raw, transformative emotions within all of us through this lunar cycle that is quite intense, very deep, and guaranteeing renewal. But stay in the space of observation. Remember, the word is observe. All right? Observe your emotional intensities. Observe your desire for emotional honesty. Observe the purging, the releasing, the letting go. Observe your own vulnerability and observe how you choose to be exposed. There's this energy of a deep inner stillness, of a heightened intuitive psychic sense, because Scorpio and water energy is very psychic. So observe your own psychic sensitivities and observe your own shadow emotions. Let it rise so that it can be cleared. And what are those emotions, right, that I'm talking about? Those shadow emotions. They can be jealousy, they can be fear, fear of abandonment, power struggles, old grief, shame, regret. Betrayal wounds are also shadow emotions. Emotions of memories that are even stored in the body that you can sense and feel, but you haven't really quite pinpointed what that is, right? So if you have a backache, what shadow energy of emotion is that expressing? And let it come out into the surface so that you can cut ties with those negative, challenging emotions, so that you can clear those shadow emotions, so that you can purify your unhealthy patterns, right? So again, Scorpio is about passion, depth, and magnetic desire, but let's cleanse that and have it come from the heart space, right? Because there is an emotional rebirth that's happening for you, for us in the collective. And that rebirth is going to have us feeling lighter, cleaner, truer to yourself, reborn in a lot of ways. Again, it's very intense, but once we pass this little window, right? It's just from this new moon until the full moon. We can do it, guys. We can really, really do it. So I want you to just really regulate your emotions by using the celestial tools that's already in your treasure chest of amazingness. Okay? Allow the intense emotions to come up. Let them reset. Observe the shadow areas and then rise like the phoenix. The scorpionic energy has this energy of the phoenix rising. Okay? So, with all that said, let's just move on to the next slide where I'm going to be speaking a little bit more about the two cards that are dominating us emotionally with this new moon in Scorpio that's reflected in both the Vedic and tropical astrology. And one more thing, when you get to that first quarter moon, that's when you want to start setting your intentions. That's when you want to do the release work, right? That's when you want to highlight your manifestations. So look at the calendar, wherever you are in the world, find out when that first quarter moon is and activate. That's when you start doing your rituals, your purification energies, and really go deep with this one, all right, guys? Because there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity for you to renew yourself, right? And find that aspect of yourself that makes you shine, especially as we head to the full moon next month. All right, let's go on to the next slide. Once again, we are in a new moon phase, so the moon will show like this until, the sun shines on its surface, and it is ruled by Pluto, and it is in the sign in both sidereal and Vedic astrology in the sign of Scorpio. Okay, so we're not fluctuating here. It's literally Pluto Scorpio energy in both Vedic and tropical astrology. So it's very, very powerful. And the tarot cards that are ruled by Pluto is both the Death card and the Judgment card. So when I do the reading, the tarot reading for you, the new moon tarot reading, I am going to gravitate toward one or the other. Okay. Now, when we're dealing with the Death card, It is about a renewal, but it's also about spiritual transformation. It's also about new beginnings, letting go, endings, change, transitions, sudden unexpected upheavals, releasing, cleansing, purging, uh, stripping away of things that don't matter anymore. And there's a liberation through that release as well. And when we have the death card and its more challenging aspects, it's this inability to sort of move forward, to inability to renew, to regenerate. It's also sometimes a fear of new beginnings. And it can be this experience of repeating negative patterns and even sometimes resisting change. There is an energy of codependency sometimes with this death card. So if I pull this card and it's more challenging, definitely try to release this, because this is all about our willingness to let go of the past versions of ourselves. And it is the 13th card in the tarot deck, which means that leadership and the way that we communicate is also going to be important. Okay. So if I choose or am gravitating toward the Judgment card, for me, this is about an awakening. Actually, they're both this energy of awakening. And it's also this energy of renewal that you can find in both of these cards. So that's actually really strong. So if you've been sort of stagnant or stuck with something, this is a perfect moon to get that momentum, to get the energy going and moving toward a renewed sense of self. The Judgment card can also be about composures, decisiveness, um, careful about snap judgments or blaming someone. It is a card of forgiveness. It is a card of a final reckoning. It is a card of a final examination. All right. Um, and it's also an opportunity to change your life. In its more challenging aspects, I'd say that this can be sometimes about lack of self-awareness or an unwillingness to learn some sort of karmic lesson. All right. And both of these cards are ruled by the planet Pluto. And again, Mars is in the mix here somehow too, because of the energy of Scorpio, but I'm sticking to the traditional Plutonian energy here, okay? And when we are dealing with the Judgment card, it is about making these daily choices and to align those choices with your life purpose, all right? So again, when I do the reading, I'm going to gravitate toward one of the other of these cards, and they both represent Scorpio energy. That scorpionic energy that is about this energy of dissolving waters, right? Dissolving emotional states that no longer serve us. All right, let's move on to the reading. Once again, we have a new moon in Scorpio in both Vedic and tropical Western astrology. Okay, so we're going to start this reading from Scorpio and go all the way around and end with Libra. If you want, I am focusing on your moon astrological engagements, but if you want, you can listen to your ascendant and your sun sign and see what story is unfolding for you for this new moon. The way I see it is obviously the moon is your emotional resonance, your Ascendant is how you're getting to wherever you're going, and the sun sign is what you're doing, right? What's manifesting on the exterior, right? So the moon is the interior flow, and the sun is the exterior flow, and the ascendant is how it's moving between the two. I actually look at both my Vedic and sidereal astrology, and Western astrology rather, signs, and I can see a complete picture of what's going on, even with the details. So have fun with this. And once again, we are focusing on a new moon. So I am using the True Black Tarot deck, and I'm using the Oracle of Mystical Moments Oracle deck. All right, so those are the two cards, and of course, these two are from my Arc-en-Ciel Tarot deck as well. All right, so let's begin. Let's move this out of the way. And first one up is, let me wear my glasses here, Scorpio. Let's see what we have here for you. And I pre-shuffle everything, I lay them out, and I don't know, what it is until I actually flip them over. So we are doing this together. Ace of Swords. This is really powerful, right? You could see the flames of this particular sword. There's a victory here. There's a new engagement. Look at these beautiful golden roses that are coming forth. This is actually, I have a Scorpio moon in Western tropical. So this is actually really important for a new project that I'm personally doing. But for those of you with Scorpio moon, sun, or ascendant, there's a new energy here coming forth, a new opportunity here coming forth for you for this new moon period until the full moon. The one that I'm being drawn to is actually the death card here. And the reason being is that, number one, there's a sense of renewal, but number two, the scythe here also reminded me of the sword. So you're going to be very quick to remove things that are not allowing you to live well, to love much, to laugh often, right? Because this energy is bringing you a lot of passion. So anything that's not serving you will be removed in this level of swiftness. Let's see what your oracle guidance is, and we've got Queen Bee. This is so appropriate because, again, I saw this fire energy with the sword, and the sword tends to be an element of air. So there's a lot of passion going on here. And when we see this Queen Bee, I do feel that it is you becoming this center point, becoming this sphere of sort of like the busy little bees around you, working around you and activating something that is actually quite sweet. But just make sure to remove what isn't serving you anymore with that death archetype. Beautiful. And the 11 is this number of, for me, leadership as well. Yeah, we'll leave it at the oracle placement so we can see the beautiful messages. Next card up we have is Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius babies, we have the Three of Coins. And whenever I see the three, and I'm gravitating here toward the Judgment card because we have three children, three innocents here. And whenever we see the Three of Coins, I almost feel like there's going to be conversations here that you're having with siblings or people from your past, that there's sort of like a release point here coming, but it does have to do with sort of a communication about a creative project that has to do with visual arts or that has to do with writing even. When I do see the Judgment, don't judge yourself so harshly in this process because we are in the beginning stages of its inception, right? So temper your emotions. We even see water here. Look at that. Temper your emotions in order to allow what needs to grow to actually rise, right? So keep that in mind as you are moving in this new moon period of time. Again, I do feel this is family related somehow, and it may have to do with exchange of money or exchange of ideas that have to do about money. But you guys figure it out. It's a creative way in which you figure it out because there is a lot of love here. There is a lot of forgiveness of the past. Lovely. Oh, I almost forgot your guidance. Stranded. Interesting. So this idea of forgiving the past, if you've ever felt stranded or if you have felt that people have not taken into consideration your part of the bargain or something having to do with security or finances, you're going to have this opportunity to start talking about, right? Pentacles, to start talking about money so that you're not feeling in that space of strandedness. And remember, security and safety always comes from within first, and then the exterior will reflect that. It actually reflects your belief systems about money. Lovely. Next, we have Capricorn babies. Let's see what your tarot card is first. And we've got this beautiful King of Wands, right? So you're working really hard. You're going into the space of working and doing and putting your head down and just really going into that creative space. I am gravitating towards renewal because there is here also a sense of you having to burn away those things that are no longer serving you in your creative pursuits, in your projects that you're working on. And then we have touched the sky. I love this energy for you. Sometimes when we're working so hard, we kind of forget that we are in a creative process, right? Even if it's an accountant or a tax preparer, they are always in a creative zone. So for you, when I say touch the sky, look how she's touching the sky, right? She's actually above and she's imagining or I don't know, braiding in or even creating a ritual where she's envisioning touching the sky. There's something here with the King of Wands where you're also in this creative process, but don't be afraid to cut out things that aren't serving you anymore, that isn't really part of the magic that you possess. Beautiful engagement. And things are going to happen in an unexpected way. This is the other sort of message that I'm getting from the Touch the Sky. And that was for Capricorn babies. And next we have Aquarius. Dun, dun, dun. Did I do this right? This is the Four of Coins. This is about you shattering illusions about money. This is about you shattering this belief system that you can't get bigger, that you can't grow more, that you can't drawing here to the death card, that you can't renew aspects of yourself. This idea that you have to somehow be grounded and stable is being shattered, especially with this new moon, that we're looking deep into our belief systems. What is it that we believe in? What is it that's keeping us sort of trapped? And, sometimes when I see this kind of combination, it even goes beyond your belief system. It really goes into the space of what is it that you want? Declare it, state it, manifest it, and feel it in your heart. If you want peace, my goodness, just declare it. I want peace. If you want more abundance and you want to move your body and you want to move your energy of money, say it, declare it. I want to move the energy of money so that I can create something new, right? But it's going to require you cutting away these things that aren't serving you. And for you, it's about belief systems and miracles because butterflies are very miraculous and they only last a little bit. And here we have this energy of the butterfly wanting to fly, wanting to really showcase her colors. But there's like a web here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a spider's web that's kind of trapping the butterflies. And even the coins are like stuck to the ground, right? This is a belief system. What is it that you believe, Aquarius? Because ultimately, again, your belief systems reflects what's in your outer realms. And a red garden. Oh my God, this is beautiful. And look at this little parrot here. There's a message here, right? This is what you want. This is what you want to feel like. You want to feel like the roots of your family, the roots of who you are, the base of who you are is in paradise. But instead, we are feeling this energy of trapped engagement, this energy, I can't move, I can't do anything, I can't rise up, I feel trapped in this web of life, right? That's a belief system that you need to cut away with using this energy of the death card so that you can renew yourself and regain what you desire, right? Remember that scorpionic energy is ultimately about your deepest desires. But before we get to the deepest desires, we have to get rid of some things. We have to go through a little bit of the darkness in order to clear out the cobwebs and see things clearly so that you can have a clear path. Next, we have Pisces energy, sun, moon, or rising. Oh, I love to. Oh, this is interesting. So this is the Two of Coins. So we're balancing some money situation here. It's like we're balancing this up and down situation, this money aspects. I am being drawn here to the energy of the Judgment card because it has the 20, right? And that's a 2 number. So this 2 energy. So we have to start being in that space again of belief. Belief is kind of coming up a lot here of us believing in our ability to call in, and I'm being drawn to the trumpet here, to call in more stable income, more easy flow, right? And let go of this judgment that you may have had or this belief system that things can't happen the way that you want. You've got 2 little energies here. You've got the ferret, and then you've got, I don't know if you could see it, but there's a dolphin. And for me, this is about you believing in the miraculous and forgiving the past for imbalances or any ideas that you cannot balance money or that you don't know how to keep money. You got to release that and be in the space of the miraculous, which is this beautiful energy of the dolphin. And of course, that's perfect for Pisces. And what do we have here? Sea Witch, right? So I love that. Even using your mirror, your magic when it comes to manifesting money, when it comes to creating money, don't be afraid to use manifestation rituals, right? This is literally what it's calling you to do and to have faith. Oh, I love that energy. Next, we have Aries, sun, moon, or rising. So the Aries moon, we have the Judgment card. Wow. So you are, whatever's happening with Aries, you are already in sync. You are already trying to remove things that no longer serve. You are already in the space of forgiveness. So because you've already pulled the Judgment, I'm going to pull the Death card. I'm going to ask you and give you an invitation to really go deeply into what it is that you want, but also what it is that you have to let go of. What it is that, look at this. It's pointing somewhere. Where is it in your life that you need to release something, let it go, right? Because you've been wounded by this. Look at, there's a wound here. You've been wounded by this past judgment of yourself and others. Let it go and rest in the belief that what you declare, you can do so with the power of leadership that you are. This is sun, moon, or rising Aries. Secrets, right? So even whatever it is in the past that had to do with secrets, that had to do with things where you felt unaccomplished, right? This is what we need to expose. We need to expose the secrets from the past, letting it go. You have the keys to open the door to that new beginning and renew yourself. Next, we have Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And we've got this energy of the devil archetype, Taurus. The devil archetype is all about obsession. What is it that you are obsessed about? What is it that you are addicted to? Don't fall for the same old, same old. Remember, and I'm being drawn here to the death card. Remember that ultimately the devil archetype is about setting you free. And it's not about shutting down. It's about opening up and speaking up. Look, it's the devil archetype even is going shh. But I want you to do the opposite. I want you to really speak your truth and really be in that space of empowerment as you enter this new moon phase. Okay? Let's see what we have here. The observer. That's a great place to be, right? Not only do I want you to speak up, I want you to be this observer. I want you to look at things from a different perspective. And I want you to realize that you do have the power to let go and set yourself free. And I feel like I'm drawn to the hairs here and this energy of just freedom that you feel even from being the observer. Really beautiful. And sometimes we feel trapped, or we trap ourselves because we set an intention of a specific outcome, and that is called obsession. That is called possession. When you have a specific outcome that you want, let it go. Be in the space of observation. Cut those things that don't serve you anymore, part of which is the planning. Too much planning can be detrimental to your own freedom. Next, we have Gemini, baby, sun, moon, or rising. We have Temperance. Ooh, I haven't seen Temperance in a long time. So this is really beautiful. And I feel this strong connection here also with the Judgment card, which is the space of innocence, right? So really beautiful engagement here with Temperance. Yeah, I just felt like very strongly this is about you tempering your emotional waters and letting go of things that don't serve you, and specifically temper your mind, right? You want to be in the space of forgiveness, but you also want to ground your mind so that you're not out there floating around with things that make you upset, or things that are getting you frustrated, or things that are sort of going on repeat in your mind. Let it go. Go into that space of forgiveness. See the innocence in yourself and others. Let's see what your guidance is. Beautiful. All sunny day. I love that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the more you temper your mind and the more you sort of quiet that chatter that's going on in your mind and be in that space of forgiveness, the more you realize and you will be in the space of positive outcomes, positive attitudes, positive visions even. Beautiful. Next we have Cancer, babies, sun, moon, or rising. Ah, beautiful. Ace of Wands. For me, immediately, I was like, write a letter. And I'm being drawn to the card of innocence, the Judgment card. Write a letter to yourself. Write a letter to someone that has hurt you, and go into that space of forgiveness. How is it that you're going to forgive yourself, and how is it that you're going to forgive them or others or circumstances or situations, right? And, this is a letter not necessarily to send it out, but this is a letter for you to keep. And I want you to read that letter on the full moon and see how you feel then in December with that full moon. But really dig deep into the space of forgiveness. Okay? This could also mean starting something new that has to do with children. And I'm being drawn to children because of the children in the Judgment card. Let's see what your your oracle message is. Morning dew, girl. I love this because this is about you understanding that security and safety comes from within you and nowhere else. Also use the morning as an opportunity, dawn as an opportunity to write that letter. As soon as you wake up, write those letters. It could be one letter or two. Let me drink some water here for a second. But use the power of the dawn, use the power of the morning to do that, because you're going to be able to release a lot of emotional baggage that you've been holding on to. Excuse me. Next, we have Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. We've got the Six of Swords. Whenever we see the Six of Swords, it's this energy of moving forward, right? But I understand that you're moving forward with a lot of heaviness in the mind. And I want you to know that, one, take care of yourself. Two, this is actually about nurturing your mind. And three, know that you're still moving to calmer waters, okay? As long as you pay attention to your mind, and I'm bringing the death card here, pay attention to your mind, be in that space of healing, right? This is where self-care is really, really important. And again, I was drawn to this card because of renewal. Even go to the spa, go somewhere, travel somewhere, even if it's a short distance where you can nurture yourself. It's going to be really important for your body and your mind. And this is Sun, Moon, or Rising Leo. And then your guidance is the gift. I feel that if you do this, you will receive a gift, right? Like if you go into that space of self-care, if you go into that space of the spa, of nurturing yourself, nurturing your mind, being in the understanding that your mind, right, is one of the most important things to temper, one of the most important things to take care of, right? And as soon as you do that, you're going to find your strength, right? The strength to what? To renew again. Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. We've got the Page of Cups. Now, the Page of Cups, sometimes people see this as a very, I'm going to use the Judgment card. Sometimes people see this as a very selfish kind of energy, because the page is just totally concerned about their own emotional wellness. And I don't see anything wrong with that, especially with everything that's going on in the world. Going into your emotional wellness is actually a good idea, but you're also doing things that are esoteric in nature, right? Why do I say that? We've got a lot of fish here, but the koi fish are on top of her head, right? In the crown chakra. So there's a lot of energy that's coming in from the depths of your soul, wanting to be illuminated and acknowledged. And this is also this awakening that's happening for the Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising babies. There's an awakening that's happening here, and it's coming from this energy of the Judgment card that's activating your crown chakra. Let's see what the message here is. Butterfly Gardens, beautiful. And look at this, the crown chakra again activated. So for me, Sun, Moon, or Rising Virgo, you guys are probably going to go into a lot of dream states. Write them down, wake up in the middle of the night and just jot them down so you can remember what they were. There's a lot of transformation that's happening in the way that you're thinking, in your belief systems as well. Beautiful. Next, we have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. We've got the Eight of Swords, and this is coming in hot, right? Like you can almost feel the sword energy kind of coming in. I feel like this is the death card. I feel like this is like literally eliminating all these other ideas, all these other thought forms that are not serving you, and really focusing on one. So using the death card, the death archetype, to get rid of those other ideas that are just floating around going, you received, you got the message. Go with the message that you received. Go with the ideas that came down, that were downloaded to you. White Rose of Hope. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love, love, love this card. So for me, this is again, not for you to be in despair with an Eight of Swords energy, but for you to cling on to this energy of the white rose, this energy of hope, this energy of being able to convey and communicate something miraculous. Love this beautiful blue and the white rose and how it's literally illuminating. You know, I kind of felt that illumination here with this sword, this one center sword. There was a strong illumination. Everything else is even chained. I don't know if you could see that, but there's a chain on one of the swords. It's just one strong idea. Make sure this idea is coming from the heart center, right? This is what this beautiful card of the White Rose of Hope is providing you with. And proceed with kindness and with peace. Okay? That's it, folks. That was the reading for the new moon. I want you all to stay safe. And also remember that even though we're dealing with this Plutonian energy, this is ultimately about an awakening experience for all of us, right? So hold on to that awakening, because once there is this awakening experience after going through the Pluto energies, there is a renewal. There is a sense of justice even that's coming forward. So hold on to that, all right? I love you, and until the full moon.